Apparently there were rumors that I was going to be ducking this. I don't know where they got that idea from. I am not John Morant or Dylan Brooks, and we are not the Memphis Grizzlies. We ain't ducking nothing. And to the few people that are apparently coming out of the woodworks yet again with this Steph can't do nothing without KD rhetoric, go check out the last video, come back to this one, then go check out the last video again, then come back to this one. Because at this point, the only thing that I can think is if you still making an argument, you just don't watch the game or know the game. You don't watch and know the game. You don't even have to look at the fact, you know what, I said all I had to say in that video. We here for a different reason because the Warrior season has come to an end, unfortunately. But there's no caveat to this. So first off, there's nothing but respect to the Lakers, LeBron, AD, D-Ham, because I think, to be honest with you, D-Ham honestly outcoached Steve Kerr for a couple of games and made better adjustments. The better team won. And on that note, all I can say is, hey, best of luck to y'all in the next round. Wish y'all nothing but the best. The better team won. The better team won. I don't know what else there really is to say outside of that. There's going to be plenty more to say on the Warriors side, but as far as the Lakers side, they took advantage where they need to take advantage. They used AD effectively. They completely... This is what it comes down to in the playoffs. And this is generally... You could probably break this down into any game, but specifically the playoffs. Can you do and execute what you want to do more than the other team wants to execute what they want to do more? And can you disrupt that and still get yours? That's what it comes down to. And they completely disrupted the Warriors' flow. I've never seen the Warriors' offense look as dysfunctional, as chaotic, as out of whatever term you want to use, man. Whatever term you want to use, it applied. Because throughout the entire game, I knew from the first quarter, I was talking to my cousin before the game, shout out to JC, and I said, whoever wins the first quarter is going to win the game. And by the end of the first quarter, I already knew it was a wrap. Before we even get to Austin Reeves' half-court buzzer beater, I already knew. You didn't come out with the energy. See, this is the difference between what the Celtics did, and I made a prediction that was wrong because I thought we were going to get 4 Game 7s. I don't know what. I really should have just said 3, because the only reason I was holding out hope was honestly for Golden State, and I felt like maybe the Knicks. Maybe. Only because of Jalen Brunson. But none of that happened. We only got 1 Game 7. What did Boston do when they, in that beginning of the game? They came out with a vengeance. They came out and took it to Philly. Now, Philly obviously came back later in the game, got a lead, built on it. And by the way, you ain't going to get no stats today. This is not stats day. I'm sure there's stats that can perfectly break down what else I'm going to say. But if you come in here for stats, this is the wrong place. Go check out Hoops Tonight. Go check out whatever, go wherever else you gotta go. But this ain't a stat day. This is just 100% me keeping it in the buck as a Warriors fan. But Boston came out with the energy that they needed to. So when Philly climbed back into the game, they had a little bit of a lead. And even when they got down and they started to make their comeback, you would still put Philly in a position to where they felt threatened, felt endangered. At what point did the Los Angeles Lakers feel endangered or threatened? I'm gonna say this though right now. Unless you 30, everybody's available. Everybody's available this offseason. Everyone. And we're going to start where it really hurts. We're going to start with the core. Draymond, Klay Thompson. I love y'all. From the bottom of my heart, y'all have given me some of my most fondest sports memories ever. Ever. Also giving me some of my most heartbreaking sports memories ever. And today ain't no exception. I'm going to start with Draymond. Through all the bullshit, and it has been bullshit, the one thing that I will always defend Draymond on is he is who he is. Through all the frustrating bullshit, and it is from a Warriors fan, it is mind-numbing, some of the stuff that he does. But he makes up for it 9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10, he makes up for it with his hustle, with his defensive presence, with his tenacity, the mental aspect of the game. Where was that Draymond this series? In fact, where was the Draymond that we had during the Sacramento series? Because I ain't see him. But maybe one game, and even then, last game, I'm like, I don't want to say you had to do it, but you had to do it. A gentleman's sweep, it's kind of an eye roll. 3-2, it still don't feel good. I'm not making excuses. The expectation was to win and defend our championship when we failed. So let me get that out the way first, because anyone who's listened to that old video that I just posted yesterday, like, oh, well, the Warrior season's a failure. It is absolutely 100. Do you think we was making the moves that we was making or trying to make during the trade deadline if we wasn't trying to win the chip? Hell, this season was a failure. Absolutely. Look, we ain't ducking nothing. You will never hear. Please. I wish a Warriors player would come out and say that this season wasn't a failure. Please. As much as I just got on KD, Even if it was 30, don't ever come out and say the season ain't a failure. That ain't what I want to hear as a fan. That ain't what I saw. I saw y'all give up. Y'all gave up this past game. No presence, no energy, and it's frustrating because I get Draymond got a relationship with LeBron, and I don't know that relationship. That man maybe done help put money in that man's pockets, help feed his family, whatever. I don't care. But we playing to win a game, bruh. You got punked. You got punked by LeBron. At what point did you ever get in Bron's face? And you can say, well, that's a respect factor. They've been back and forth plenty of times. They've had that moment. Do you really want to get Draymond in a situation? Okay, well, go at AD. Go at Austin Reeves. You respected Austin Reeves? Go at somebody. He didn't do anything. This entire series, I ain't never seen Draymond this passive. Ever. I will say this, though. He was making the occasional three-pointer that, not during this game, but during the series, I was like, okay, Draymond. I mean, it's definitely not, 17, 18 Draymond, where everyone's got to go out and confront him at the perimeter, but it was still respectable. But Draymond, your time with the Warriors has come to an end, man. It just has. Whether I like it or not, and I did think that we was going to be able to move past it as a team, the Jordan Poole punch definitely changed that man's trajectory. You can't deny that. It definitely changed it. Absolutely. He just was not the same player. And maybe he felt like, well, y'all ain't really going to do nothing to Draymond. He was in his feels about that. But JP, you ain't been hooping. You know that third splash brother Tyler that we gave you last season?
I don't know this person right here. I bet you had a nice little laugh about this, huh? Why should I?
Because it's mine. And it means something to me.
Man, watch out.
I don't know why we gave you the Tyler third splash brother, because you don't be splashing, but you sure enough be bricking. You be bricking like a motherfucker. I'm like, damn, JP. Where was the kid that we saw that had that hunger, who got sent to the G League and said, I'm going to fight my way back into a starting position to prove not only to my team, but to the whole league that I'm that guy? But you're not. You're a guy who got his bag. You want to take Ice Spice out on $500,000 dates. And look, my old man always told me never have your head or your hand in another man's pockets. I don't like saying money change people, because money really just makes you more of who you really are. But if this is really you, we got to get you on up out of here. Nah, we ain't got no place for you here. Nah, I ain't gonna say you gonna go to China like a lot of people. A lot of people being a little brazy. I'm not saying JP played the best. That's not what I'm saying. But I feel like more inclined to say he pulled a DeAndre Ayton. And he said, all right, well, I'm not really even going to try to run the offense that I know that we can run. I'll ask y'all again. At what point during this entire series did you feel like you saw Warriors' legitimate championship offense? I'm talking about not only ball movement. That's fine. And you can't even fault Vanderbilt, even Schroeder to a certain extent, for staying on Curry, because they stayed with Curry. I didn't think they was going to be able to stay with him over the duration of 6 games, and they did it. So like I said, for the physicality, the athleticism, all I can say is, hey, y'all did that. I can't say they stayed with him. They fought through, over, under screens. That's what it takes to win a chip. You can tell them boys was hungry. They was hungry. Who was hungry on the Warriors besides 30? And I'm not questioning Klay's get back, and we might as well get to Klay because we here right now. And again, like I prefaced this before, I love you, Dre. I love you, Klay, but it's time for y'all to go. It's time for y'all to go. I'm assuming this is a Bob Myers / Steve Kerr / Joe Lacob decision to bring Klay back or give him the max extension. If you give Draymond Green and Klay Thompson that kind of money for this kind of production, the dynasty is over. It is over. You don't do that, and you do not spend that much money for players that are former shells of themselves. Now, I'm not saying that they scrubs and they flamed out, but they are not the same players that we've come. And to Klay, that again, we get he's coming through injury. That's fine. But something else that I would argue, Klay, you've never been the type of player that just takes straight up jack up shots. You just jacking up shots. You get your ball, you catch it in the flow of the offense, catch, shoot. That's it. That's it. And even when that's not falling, you ain't the best off the dribble, but you can definitely get a little penetration and take a sweet mid-range. But we didn't even do that. And I'm not a shooter. I've never played basketball at the collegiate, at the NBA, like obviously the professional level. But I do know this. I don't care who you are. At a certain point, the Warriors gotta look at, okay, look, we done took 9 threes. We made 2. this maybe ain't the night for us to start just trying to make threes. Maybe we should actually do what the Lakers are doing. Get to the line, charge to the basket, get a little contact. You let the Lakers off. You let the Lakers. How did we win last game? And yes, it was because we were partly in the Bay. I'm not going to deny that. Home teams definitely get favorable calls. You don't think the Lakers got favorable calls last night? But they could also argue, I mean, we got Schroeder ejected. In a way, they kind of almost tried to give y'all the game. And I can't fault Lakers fans for thinking that way. Because there was a certain point, I can't remember what it was. I can't remember what the score was. I think it was 38. Either we were still stuck on like the high 20s or they was in the mid 30s. And I sent this out as a tweet. Make sure y'all go follow the Twitter, Warriors Central. I was like, if they don't go on this run and they don't drastically get this lead down or overtake it, that was the time. That was when the game was lost. I can't remember if it was in the first quarter or the second quarter. I feel like it was the second quarter because it was like 3 to 4 minutes where nobody scored. And I'm like, Steph, y'all ain't gotta take all these threes, man. This is the biggest misconception about the Warriors. And this coming from a Warriors fan, someone who has watched them since the We Believe Warrior days. Obviously, we focus on this iteration, which is Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson and the rest of the core. We have been a great 3-point shooting team when it's available. When it's available. The reason why we was hitting it at such a high clip those first couple years, which started like 14, 15 season onward, the league hadn't caught up. The league's caught up, and they know how to defend it because everybody's doing it now. You don't have to take all these threes, man. Y'all, we saw this happen with the Houston Rockets back in, what was it, 16, 17, 18 seasons, one of them seasons. They shot themselves out the game. And yeah, it's a make or miss league, but there are things you can do as a shooter that I would imagine to get yourself in a better rhythm, a better flow. So, okay, yeah, I'm taking some tough shots, but then now I'm in the flow and the rhythm and I feel confident I can step into them. Jason Tatum hit that one shot over Joel Embiid game 6, and you could tell, oh no, something different. He stepped into 2 more threes and they won the game. That's how Klay has to impact the game. That's what I'm looking for. But Klay, I want you to get your bag. I do. You deserve it. And I know, like they say, you don't pay somebody based on prior performance. And in the case that they do, it's usually the team that you've been with the entire time. You can't do it. You can't do it, man. Wherever Klay wants to go, Klay, we will send you wherever you want to go. I promise. It just can't be with us. Same thing with you. It can't be with us. It can't. Y'all let Steph Curry down this series, and I'm not saying Steph and we gotta get to 30 because I and a lot of people view Steph Curry as in the top 10 greatest players of all time. Whether you want to debate that or not, let me know in the comments. But I view him as a top 10 player of all time. And if you a top 10 player of all time, you definitely sharing a piece of this. You absolutely share a piece. Why? Again, I came at, I forget, Kevin Durant and a few other people, especially Giannis, for saying at a certain point, it's up to the player to take over. Steph, we saw that we had some success, and I think the first game we got to win was game 3. We didn't want to try that at all. We want to give that a look. We didn't think that might be effective to where I'm still drawing 2 or 3 defenders with me, because Steph, they was going to hound you. They know, you know that they was going to hound you. You had to draw them in, suck them out, give Klay Thompson, and he had some easy 3-pointers. So who's to say that this still would even work? But I think it would have felt better with him taking some of them shots, getting open looks early versus you getting open looks late. And you only 6 of 30, 6 of 20, whatever the hell it was that bad. This is bittersweet, but it's not the end. I'll say that. If you're a Warriors fan, you out there, you're someone who's a dissenter, of which we thank y'all. Y'all didn't learn y'all lesson in 2018, 2019? The Dynasty was dead, right? KD gone. Klay hurt. Bench in shambles. Come back the next season. Steph hurt. Draymond hurt. Scrub of a team. I think we were the worst team in the league, I'm pretty sure. I try to forget that season. Came back the next year a little bit better. Got bounced in the playoffs. Got bounced in the play-in by the Memphis Grizzlies, who still ain't did shit. Oh, shout out to Jaren Jackson Jr. for your Defensive Player of the Year award. But I couldn't tell based on how AD was bodying you. So, What does this all mean for us going forward? Like I said, everyone is available outside of 30. And when I mean everybody, I ain't just talking about the players. Steve, you got outcoached. Are you done? If you're done, let us know. I'm not saying we can go out and find a better coach than Steve Kerr. That's not what I'm saying. But if that passion is gone, how we get that passion back, Steve? We gotta make one more run. I need one more run. And we got all the pieces in place right now to get us some better pieces to surround with Steph and go all in on next year. Go all in on next year. Get what you can for Klay. Get what you can for Dre. You gotta trade them. Because at this point, it's about getting value. You can't let them walk. You can't let a single one of these players. I don't think anyone can walk at this point of significance. I'm gonna get to Andrew Wiggins next because I don't know what happened with Andrew Wiggins and his family situation. Everyone has been they don't want to talk about it. And okay, and I don't know what it is, so it's hard for me to. It's not like if it was a death. I don't want to be too insensitive. Like if it was a death, if something was going on, just like I don't know. But in a general sense, obviously, if it's something significant, I take this back because that's a lot to go through. Like people who was getting on Budenholzer, and I'm not saying Budenholzer's a great coach, but you don't think Giannis and the crew knew that Bud had just lost his brother in a car accident like the week before, the day, or however many days before? If Giannis wanted Bud there, he would still be there. Now, I'm not saying you should get a pity stay, but there's a way you handle that. And firing Bud before the offseason has even started for everybody, you don't do a coach like that. You don't do a coach like that. All I can say is in a general sense, if you decide to come back, I expect you to play. And I expect you to play hard. And Andrew Wiggins played one good game this entire postseason. Only one good game. That's it. I just can't trust that Wiggins is going to give me that production that I need night to night. And it's heartbreaking because, again, looking back at this, and I'm going to get to Bob Myers next because Bob definitely deserves some blame here as well. We definitely going to get to him. But you trade pieces when their value is high, not when they're as low as they are now. Because last season, coming out the postseason, Warriors got it's scary. People were, man, we had the league pissed. They said, how these boys did it again? They set up for the next 5 or 6 years, and it's a very different story now. It's very different. When you have that buzz, you have to look at certain players. You have to look at a Jordan Poole and say, what is he really? Yeah, we know he flashing, he can score, but he do a lot of talking and not a lot of backing up of anything. The book is out on JP. You care about the honeys. Hey, I don't blame you. Ain't everybody likes something nice to look at. But if that's what it takes for you to get motivated, send him to Brooklyn and see what you can get. Send him to anywhere and see where you can get. But make sure what we get in return is a hard-working player who, if we do decide to throw the bag at, he'll actually make sure that he works harder. And that's a tough thing to find. It's hard to find players who will get the bag and work harder than when they were trying to get it. It's hard. But JP, I've loved JP since his Michigan days, man. And I was excited. He was the first Michigan player, and I don't know how long to get a chip. And I'm not counting Juwan Howard when he was with the Heat. That don't count. JP gotta go. He gotta go. He is not conducive to how we want to play basketball. He just isn't. He will be a great player on another roster. I think he'd be a great fit in Dallas. I wouldn't recommend trading, that straight up in the conference. But I think like a team like Dallas, he will be a great fit where they need somebody else who can operate and score and really usurp Tim Hardaway, who has not, in my opinion, at all. I mean, he's been injury ridden too, but at this point, you just are who you are. And so that gives you a little consistency. Maybe that balances some things out with, Kyrie and Luka, but then you really ain't got no defense. And that's the other thing. If you're not going to give me the offensive production, JP, you got to do a better job on defense. You fall asleep. 30 fall asleep sometimes too. And there was plenty of times in this series with 30. It's just mental blunders. I don't know if it was just the toll of having to carry the team. I don't know if it was just other stuff that was going on that we're not exactly privy to now, but I'm sure that we will find out come off season. I don't know. But I do know there were a lot of mental blunders, and there was a game that we should have had. You can make an argument the Warriors should have been up 3-2. I still think the Lakers win, but win like the game. But then we definitely go to a game 7, and it was the game 4. Game 4 was inexcusable. It was sloppy basketball on everyone. JaMychal Green, gone. Don't stop. You're gone. Especially if Steph, you ever notice how Steph is never the one to ever really take shots that much. Steph ain't really one to talk trash before a game. Now, after a game, kick me off the court again. Kick me off the court again. CP3, no. That's why when Kendra Andrews, which we really shouldn't be surprised given the fact that her sister Malika Andrews does the stuff that she does, came out with a report last year when she said she asked Steph Curry something and he said, run that trick. He never said that. He never said that. And I mean, it is what it is. I'm surprised that the Warriors still even let her cover the team. But I guess, ESPN assigns who they assign, and it is what it is. But that's not in his bill. JaMychal Green, who the fuck are you to start chiming in and chirping in? It's one thing if Steve do it. It's one thing if Steph, Klay, or Dre do it. Hell, Andrew Wiggins don't really do it, but it's one thing even if he does it, because at least he helped. It's not even an argument. He was the second best player in the postseason for us last year. Not even an argument. You are not the one that should be talking. You're gone. Dante DiVincenzo, he played great. I would love to keep him. I feel like we especially need to keep him if we go and dish JP. You need somebody, and he showed me enough that I would love to keep him. Kevon Looney, I also would love to keep. I think you got to keep Steph, Klay. I'm not saying you have to keep Dante. I'm just saying if you can, it would just be nice to at least have a consistent backup, because you don't want to start getting to the point. If you don't think Steph Curry at 35 is going to win another championship, Kendrick Perkins, I forget the other dude. I don't even know the other dude on ESPN. Okay, make the bet. Y'all seem to forget, man. Is this how Patriot fans felt? It's like every single time we lost, the dynasty is over. Like, over, bro. Everybody have a little failure. We ain't afraid of that. We call it what it is. We ain't afraid of a little failure. We gonna come back harder. It may not be in the same form. Basically, by the end, it was Tom Brady basically doing it by himself, was it not? By the end, I'm not talking about Tampa. I'm talking about with the Patriots. Tampa, he definitely had help. I ain't gonna cap. I hate saying cap. Why we say cap? See, JaMychal Green got me saying it, but still always Warriors, man. Still always. Now, unless we get to a certain doomsday scenario that's been flowing out there where people are saying that Steph may request a trade. I don't think there is a chance in hell that he does that. But in the event that he does, gotta go where 30 go. I don't think there's a chance that that's happening, though. I think it's much more likely that we just get rid of all these pieces around Steph that really didn't contribute and dish it out. Now, is this going to happen? I have no idea. I have no idea what's in the head of Bob Myers, because as much as I really appreciate what GP2 did last year, did GP2 have the same effect at all on our team this season that he had last season? So was it really worth those 5 second-round picks? Oh, this is the part where we get into Bobby. You must have lost your damn mind, bro. Did you get nervous when you saw Rob Pelinka actually doing his damn job for a change? He was like, shit, gotta make a move. Gary Payton, familiar guy. We got 5 seconds. Let's do it. It'd be real nice to have them picks going into this offseason where the landscape of the NBA has changed even more. You panicked. And I don't know why. Because to me, if you're going to keep the young core, you keep them throughout the whole season, no matter how infuriating it is. You have to keep them. Because if you're going to make a move, the move is not just trading Wiseman away, getting 5 second-round picks, and then immediately turning around and spinning each of them to get Gary Payton II, who was injured for the Portland Trailblazers. And then the basketball gods say, you know what, Bob, you've been good to us. We're trying to be good to you. Are you sure? Like, they had that the Warriors, if they don't want to accept, or if they don't want to, because I forget, we had like this thing that we sent to the league basically saying that the whole deal wasn't on the up and up, and the league said, well, I mean, you got until XYZ to decline, and that means you would get the picks back and you won't get Gary Payton. Did Gary Payton make a lick of difference in this entire postseason for us? Defensively, you got an argument, but was it world changing like it felt like last year? Nah. So, I don't know where we go from here. I have no idea. I don't even know who you can trade to get pieces for. I would argue outside of Steph Curry, everyone's stock is low. Who are you trading Jordan Poole to? Who is taking that? The only caveat that you can say is, look, the Draymond punch affected things. He came with an attitude after we got the money, like he just didn't give a fuck no more, or he just like voiced to us that he didn't want to be a part of our organization anymore, and he played how he played. We were just trying to manage it and milk it as much as we could for the season. That's your best bet. That's your best selling point. and say, well, look, during the regular season, he still averaged like what, 20 some odd points. So he's a producer in the regular season, and that can help you win some games. If you're a team who feels like we just got maybe a Milwaukee, it's like if we a team that we got to at least start to try. I don't know about Milwaukee because y'all had the number 1 seed, and I still don't. I don't even know if for y'all, maybe Miami, a team like Miami. I don't know. Maybe a team that feels like they're not like a piece away, but they're like a really solid piece. Maybe in Atlanta. Hey, have DeJounte Murray, Trae Young, Jordan Poole, 3 streaky shooters. Have them. It'll be they call it the highlight factory. Hey, I'm just saying, it makes sense to me. But for everybody that thinks this is over, that the dynasty is over, please. I can't talk shit to Laker fans. Like I said, I'm not going to do that. I think that's the craziest thing that we've gotten to in sports. It's like, you beat us. I don't like it. Don't get me wrong. I do not like Laker fans. Y'all top 3 franchises I cannot stand at all. But you beat us. What can I say? I didn't think Anthony Davis could stay healthy this long. He proved me wrong. I thought Braun would get burned out a little bit more after going to game 6 last season, averaging like 40 minutes a night. He just a steady A. As long as the young guns do what they do, I'm cool. I just need to make shots. I'll facilitate and chip in where I can. I cannot say shit to a Lakers fan right now. I need to go and check out the exit interviews. I don't know, or the presser. I couldn't even watch the press conference last night. And that's usually a ritual for me. Like I like watching the pregame, the game itself, muted, because some of these announcers, unless it's Mark Jackson, Van Gundy, and Breen, Richard Jefferson gotten a little better, but he be saying anyway. But I couldn't watch the press conference last night. I just couldn't. I need to go back and watch that. I need to listen to it, see what was said. I need to see what's coming out of the exit interviews. But based on what is said in the exit interviews, if I'm Bob Myers, I'm paying very close attention to what is said, because Bob is supposed to have gotten an extension too. He has not gotten an extension, and this is why I don't know what Joe Lacob is thinking. Now, if Joe Lacob is thinking, you know what, we got a lot of chips out of this. This is more than most. Let's just go ahead and blow this thing up. Maybe that's one route. I honestly don't know. But outside of him going that route, Bob gonna have to make some moves to keep his job. And if I'm the owner, I'm just looking at it as, what are you actually doing to continue our legacy of success? What are you doing? Whatever Bob does is going to dictate the course of this franchise for the next 10 years. That's all I got for you. Warriors always 30 always, man, but it's a tough one. I ain't gonna lie. It's a tough one because I felt like we had a chance, and in the moments that we usually execute, we didn't execute. And that's something usually I've never been able to say about a Warriors squad. See y'all next time.